Ravi, I and Will, and I use hardcore accountability to achieve my goals in business and life. Let's win together. My long overdue Orthotropics update. It's been quite some time. This topic is really interesting. So I've now completed my treatment for this. No more orthodontics for me, no more orthotropics for me. Pretty much done. Into the maintenance phase now, the retention phase. How did it all go? It's been 13 months now. The treatment has been successful. I achieved the expansion I was looking for. I got the improvements I was looking for. And there were some challenges along the way, I'm not gonna lie. There were some difficulties that did emerge, and there's the odd complication that has came up, which I'll get to. But overall, very happy with how everything went and the results that I did achieve. So why did I just spend 13 months doing this? Become a Chad. That's why I did this. And to ascend. That's why, no, that wasn't it at all. The reason why I wanted to pursue expansion was I was an avid student for many, many years, like 7 years, of breath work. My practice was mostly the Buteyko method of breathing normalization, which is popularized by the physiologist Konstantin Buteyko. Incredible guy. I was very fascinated by this stuff for many years and wanted to pursue the benefits because I grew up as a child who had some breathing problems and it just bothered me. And I didn't ever want to live a limited life on the basis of things like habits, past experiences, things that I maybe got into as a child. I didn't see why the adult version of me should have to suffer. And I want to get the most out of my life and have the best level of performance I possibly can. So I went and pursued a significant journey with breathwork, became quite an advanced student of that, but came up against some frustrating kind of barriers, right? Even with all the breathwork that I did in the world, which was like 3 hours a day sometimes, really applying myself, doing a ton. The length that I went to, man, was pretty significant. Like sleeping on the hardwood floor every single night, like to kind of better ventilate, better oxygenate the body, all this shit. Went really deep down into the rabbit hole with breathwork, fasting, changing my diet, lots of hiking, lots of walking to better oxygenate myself. There was a ton of things that I did to get over the hurdles that I was having in my breathwork practice, but eventually started to get some really great results. The annoying thing was, despite all that stuff and all that work with breathwork, I'd still wake up with this annoying symptom where I was having dry tongue and dry mouth. And that is a major, major no-no if you do any form of breathwork. If you're waking up, even with a taped mouth, with dry mouth and dry tongue, then these are terrible signs that you're still unconsciously mouth breathing. And I was so pissed off with this. I did this for years to eliminate mouth breathing and go towards 100% nasal breathing. Took all these actions, did breath work for hours and hours, did all this stuff, and I just couldn't stop this damn symptom. It's a minor thing, of course, like I'd do my breath work and I'd go back to having a high level of oxygen. It wasn't a major crippling thing, but I just didn't understand why it was happening because it's really not supposed to happen. And then I had to dig deeper and deeper. Many people were quite confused by it. Kept researching, and then I found out about the development of the airway. And potentially what was happening here was maybe my airway wasn't properly developed. Maybe the bad breathing habits that I had as a child had led to it not properly growing. And then I had to go get some support and help from orthodontists, talk to different orthodontists who had this deep knowledge of orthotropics and growing the airway, developing it. And I began to get some clarity over what is going on here, and they did help. Long story short, I found an orthodontist here in London who could help me. He was really useful. He's long since retired, so that's the end of that. He helped me. He was quite skilled. He explained to me what was going on. The treatment plan that we had was the ALF upper expander because I had a narrow upper arch. My lower was actually fine. My lower jaw was decent. It's just I had an underdeveloped upper jaw, and he could kind of see that. It was evident from how my structure was presenting at the time, hence the symptom. And the benefits that could be explored from expanding this upper jaw were better sleep, better cognitive function, some slight health improvements as well, which are always good, right? And importantly, it would improve my breathing, which was really what I was looking for. And we started with myofunctional therapy, the Myobrace. We started with the ALF upper expander, incrementally improved it over time, just expanding every single month. Whilst doing all this, of course, I'm very vigilant with my myofunctional habits. I'm doing my myofunctional therapy every single day. I'm still doing this. There's a lot of chewing that you have to do to develop your jaws and sufficient tone to actually retain the results and then expansion started happening. I actually got quite a bit of expansion. The upper 4x4 measurement went from 36.5 to 43.5. So that's a significant expansion that was achieved in the upper 4x4. Great. The upper 6x6 went from 48 to 52. So that's the upper 6x6. Some good expansion there. Now with the lower, that kind of follows the upper, so that expanded also. The lower 4x4 went from 31 to 40, pretty cool. And the lower 6x6 went from 48 to 53.3. Thereafter, I got the expansion I was looking for. Let me show you some of the structure then, what it kind of looks like now. My side profiles as follows. So I remember how it used to feel. My jaw just wasn't as it hadn't like grown forward like that, so you can kind of see. I'm not at sufficiently low body fat to actually demonstrate and unveil a lot of the hard work, because if you still have fat here, you can't see the cheekbones properly, you can't see a lot of the structure. Not that that is mission critical, because again, I was doing this for health purposes, right, and to have better breathing. So that's the overall overview of the expansion. Now let's talk about some other aspects of this. With the tipping of the teeth, it comes with these complications, man. There's also, at the end of the treatment that I did, there were some alignment things that are going on. There was like a gap that just appeared in my upper and some gaps around, right? Having expanded the upper, this was looking like it would need a whole lot more orthodontics. I got like an invoice for like potentially 4.5 grand's worth of braces, extractions, all this shit. Of course, my previous dentist retired, the new one, following the completion of my treatment. He only helped me for like a month or two, and then he suggested a second phase, which would be all this alignment work, all this shit. I just pulled the plug on it, man, no more. That decision to pull the plug on any further treatment following the expansion was also informed by the group on Craniofacial Action Group. I asked for some support, got some opinions from Professor John, who was really useful, and some other people I get some advice from in airway development. The thinking was, all right, no more orthodontics, leave it there, stop, pull the plug, you've got your expansion. You've retrained your tongue, that's pretty strong now. It sits on the top of the palate. You've got your expansion, leave it there, kid, no more. And that's what I did, that's the advice that I took. So, concludes the journey. I just now need to continue with my postural work, stretching work, core work, and myofunctional habits, continuing to work on those and continuing to chew. Let's give it another 6 months and see. I think it will come together for me in a very positive way. I did it because I didn't want to have a narrow upper palate. It was not beneficial for me. It hurt my breathing, it hurt my breath work. As such, I didn't see why I should have to live with that. I took the measures to correct it and got the benefits, and that's cool. The slight tipping of the teeth, some alignment issues that have come into play now. My teeth were like perfectly straight, now they're like slightly crooked a little bit. Yeah, I'll deal with that. Every month that goes by, the more I'm sticking to my myofunctional habits and doing my myofunctional exercises, there seems to be some tiny bit of alignment that's happening, so maybe that'll support me, who knows. But at any rate, man, that's cool, it's done. However, for someone who wants to potentially consider going down this road, it depends what you want to do. If you want to correct something like a narrow arch, yeah, consider that. Things are a little bit better for me now, sleep's better, all these little things. They're subtle, but the improvements are there. Now, I don't know. Some people are motivated to do these things because they want to improve their looks. I'm not sure, man. You make your mind up. You review my videos, you review what happened with me, and you make your mind up if you want to do that. I'm just going to say, when it comes to like improving your looks for life in general, to get to a better position in your career, in your standing in the world, absolutely pursue it. I think it's a good idea. I do it myself. But is this a really smart avenue for that? There's benefits, don't get me wrong. I think the biggest bang for your buck, however, is getting in shape. That's my opinion. Drop your body fat, gain muscle, improve your style. That's where I saw the biggest benefits, okay? That's all my thinking on the looks front. You work it out. It's not even a concern for me. I'm going in a different direction for that. So yeah, that's one for you. That's one for you to piece together.